accusations are getting on my nerves now.
Okay, you are under arrest on suspicion of rape and sexual activity.
I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is some news coming from the Metropolitan Police. 3 men have been sentenced for the rape of a 13-year-old girl following an investigation by the Metropolitan Police. On Friday the 11th of October, Paul Maxwell, 24 years old, from Wood Lane Estate, W12, was sentenced to 12.5 years. Kayon Bola, of no fixed address, and Jeremiah Jackson, 24, were both jailed for 11 years. All 3 men were given sexual harm prevention orders to last 15 years. The victim was aged 13 years old when she left her home address on the 30th of September 2023. She travelled into London and she encountered the 3 defendants at a tube station in Hammersmith. They lured her back to Maxwell's flat, where all 3 of them raped her. Detectives gathered a combination of forensic evidence, CCTV and phone analysis, and worked closely with the CPS London's Rape and Serious Sexual Offence Unit and built a case against the 3 defendants. CCTV showed the group travelling from the train station towards the flat, and in-depth phone analysis also revealed a short video clip of the 3 men carrying out the attack. This evidence played a significant part in convicting the 3 men. Detective Constable Will Murphy, who led the investigation, said, "Firstly, I would like to thank the victim for the ongoing support in the case and her extreme bravery in coming forward and reporting this to the police. This has been a very challenging investigation. However, due to the dedicated efforts of the team, they were able to secure the convictions, and they hope that the victim feels that justice has been served." The sentencing highlights, he said, how despicable the crimes was that all 3 of them committed and how horrendous their actions were. The victim read in an impact statement, "I have gone over the date a million times, and I think about anything that I could have done differently to change the outcome of what happened to me, but no matter what I think about, it would never have changed and it would always have ended up the same way." This is because these 3 men, fully grown men, knew exactly what they were going to do as soon as they saw me in Hammersmith. And this is the dark reality of children being out and about and the risks that are posed to them every single day, just going on a train, travelling to or from college or school. So just make sure that you look out for your children as much as possible and try to avoid any of these situations being able to occur, full stop. And let's hope the victim makes a full recovery and can move on with her life, and this doesn't have long-lasting effects, which is so often the case. In some other news, on Tuesday the 15th of October, yesterday, a man was shot dead in Tottenham at 9 AM in the morning. He hasn't been named yet, but they said that he's a male aged in his 40s. Police attended with the London Ambulance Service and found a man with a gunshot injury. Despite the best efforts of emergency services, he died at the scene. A 56-year-old man has now been arrested on suspicion of murder and remains in police custody at a North London police station. Although police believe this was an isolated incident and they don't believe the wider public are at risk, they are still appealing for any witnesses to come forward. Detective Chief Inspector Linda Bradley, who is leading the investigation, said, "We are yet to formally identify the victim of this tragic incident and will continue to carry out efforts to ensure his family are informed and supported by specially trained police. So our condolences to the man who is yet to be named, and we'll definitely keep you updated on any charges or a trial that follows on from this story." In some news from the Specialist Crime Command, a 23-year-old man has been arrested and he's been held in custody after he was found carrying 18 knives that the police believe were destined for South London gangs. In an operation to crack down on gang violence, this led officers to conduct a stop and search on the 14th of October at around 2 PM outside Edmonton Green train station. After resisting a stop and search, police discovered 18 knives as well as a quantity of Class A and B drugs in a bag. Detective Inspector Louis Sanderson, who led the operation, said, "Time and time again, knife crime and gang violence have terrible, far-reaching consequences in the capital, and this is why the Metropolitan's operation to crack down on gangs is so important." So I look forward to hearing what the viewers have to say on that story. This next story comes from Barking, and it's in relation to a murder investigation that was launched on the 13th of October after a shooting. Police were called at approximately 4:30 AM on Sunday the 13th of October to reports of a man injured in Linton Road, Barking. Police and the London Ambulance Service attended and found a man believed to be in his 30s suffering a gunshot injury. Despite the best efforts of emergency services, he was pronounced dead at the scene. His next of kin have been informed, as crime scene remained in place and there has been no arrests and inquiries are ongoing. Acting Detective Chief Superintendent Lewis Basford, who is responsible for policing in the east area that covers Barking, said, "I understand the shock and concern that local residents have over this incident, and I want to reassure them that we have a team of experts that are already working diligently to piece together the events that has led to this shooting and identify anybody that is responsible." So our condolences to the family of the victim, and we'll definitely keep you updated on anything to do with that story, charges that come, trial and the identity of the victim. In some other news coming from the Metropolitan Police, CCTV footage has been released which shows a gang that committed over 35 knife point robberies that were predominantly around Dagenham, Tower Hamlets and the Hackney area of East London. They threatened people with knives to make them hand over expensive items like phones and designer accessories. The Metropolitan Police identified them by trawling through hours of CCTV and tracking their mobile phones. Kenzie Taylor from Greenwich was identified as being the centre of the conspiracy. Taylor was jailed for 2.5 years at Snaresbrook Crown Court last December, and meanwhile Bilal Ashfaq, 25 years old from Leighton, was identified as the group's handler, facilitating the sale of stolen goods. In July, Bilal was given a 2-year sentence that was suspended at Snaresbrook Crown Court for another 2 months. Many of the devices were tracked to countries around the world, including Pakistan, Ghana and Ukraine. In a video released on social media, the Metropolitan Police says this was not just a series of random attacks, it was a well-organised operation with a clear hierarchy. The victims, predominantly young people, were left shaken by the violence, often at knife point during these robberies. They targeted high-value items, and the police used meticulous evidence-gathering techniques to match the suspects to the robbery scene. And as the police said in his statement of how serious it is and how much money was being made, but a suspended sentence for the man that was profiting the most from this, the man that was selling the goods and buying them for probably very cheap, didn't even go to prison, so this is no deterrent whatsoever. But I'd like to hear what anybody says in the comments. Please don't forget to take part as well and like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow on social media as well. I'll be back again very shortly later today with some more news. Peace.
And sentenced, with penalties ranging from custodial sentences to community orders, depending on their level of involvement. This operation highlights the importance of thorough investigative work and the need to disrupt organised crime at every level. By taking these offenders off the streets, we've made our communities safer